Hi, everybody. I'm First 45 meteorologist Melissa Meter here with our First 45 traffic anchor, Taylor. We're going to kind of be giving you the gist of what's happening as you head out the door this morning. I'll first start off talking about our weather, and then, Taylor, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about traffic. It's a bit of a mess. It started out nicely this morning to go with your forecast, and then it just all kind of went downhill. So we'll let you know the trouble spots that you need to watch out for as you head out the door this morning.
Perfect. Thanks, Taylor. We're going to start out first with what's happening weather-wise. I want to take a look outside at our Plaza Cam right now because there's a little bit of smoke, a little bit of haze out there. And so why is that? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that and, of course, what we can expect through the day today. The good news is today is much quieter than yesterday, and that's how we like it. So for today, we're going to be reaching around 75 degrees this afternoon. I think we see a mix of sunshine and clouds. But of course, as I mentioned, a little bit of smoke and haze back into the atmosphere. High temperatures will be in the mid-70s. Overall, I think it should be a pretty nice day other than the smoke and haze. Most of us remain dry, but there is the chance for an isolated shower between about 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. today. However, the system is not totally out yet. It has left still a little bit of rain happening into portions of Benton County and our far southeastern areas with some cloud cover as well. So I think this is going to kind of continue over the course of the day. Unfortunately, that kind of large system we've been having is going to slowly move off towards the east. So our southeastern counties may see some spotty to scattered activity as we continue through the next couple of hours and eventually ending by the time we get to the latter part of the day. But then we get a small chance for some rain showers. So I had mentioned that there was some smoke and haze in the atmosphere. Now, what we have here is a kind of mix of what I think is happening out there right now. So if you look down towards the southeast, our visibility is much lower. Clinton is seeing rain right now. So some of these areas down towards the southeast seeing rain. I think that is kind of limiting visibility there, but otherwise we're also seeing that smoke and haze in the atmosphere coming from our northeast. So basically, if you remember a couple days ago, before the storm system came through, actually, I should say, I think it was on Monday, where we still had smoke and haze in the atmosphere. That came from the Canadian wildfires. That was from our northwest. Today, we're seeing those winds from the northeast, and therefore, we're seeing it from a different direction, but still a little bit of smoke is filtering into the area. I think it's going to continue to filter on in, especially as we're on the backside of that frontal boundary. But I think maybe starting to see a little bit of more moderate to thicker smoke moving in once we get to late evening and into the overnight. The thing with this one is that this kind of batch of wildfire smoke is not aloft anymore. We're thinking it's a little bit more closer to the surface, so maybe you'll smell it a little bit today. So keep that in mind if you are heading out and about, because that could reduce our air quality, which we're going to be watching pretty closely today. So here's a look again at what it looks like from our tower cam. Look very hazy and smoky. It's in the upper 50s right now. It says mostly sunny skies, but as I mentioned, not quite going to see that if we're going to continue to see some smoke and haze in the atmosphere. Temperatures will warm up into the low 60s by 9, mid 60s at 10. We'll hang there until we get to noon. We're in the upper 60s, around 69 degrees by noon, so flirting with 70, and then we are back to the low 70s by the time we get to 1 o'clock. A mix of sunshine and clouds, as I had mentioned, but overall it might be hard to see due to, of course, the wildfire smoke. So as for the next 3 days, what can we expect? Well, expect, more rain chances on our horizon, unfortunately, as we have, the next 3 days, some smaller rain chances. And so what we can expect is not what we expected, or what we had, I should say, as we finish off of yesterday. Yesterday was a lot, but today, mid-70s, as I mentioned. Once we go to Thursday, 30% chance for some rain. Mid-70s, hang on. And then eventually we are still in the mid-70s, but see the better chance for some rain. It looks like to be in the morning. Maybe some thunderstorms mixed in there too. So here's Thursday. If we track this out, temperatures, will be in that mid-70 degree range again. But by 10 o'clock, maybe some spotty showers move in, and generally lifting from the southeast up towards the northeast throughout the morning and into the afternoon hours. So between about 10 and 5, I think for the metro, closer to around 11 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock to see any of that rain shower activity. That then leads us into Friday, especially as we are pretty quiet for the rest of the day on Thursday. Friday does have a very small chance for an isolated, strong storm. The better threat for severe storms are way off towards the south. As you can see, this is just barely in our viewing area. However, the odds are not zero, so that's why we're letting you know. So as we go through the night, because I said it's going to move in Thursday night. So Thursday night, here we are at midnight on Thursday, or if you want to say midnight on Friday, however you want to think of it. But we start to see activity move in, and then it will kind of overflow through the morning. This is a longer range model. It's looking a lot more widespread than we're expecting it to be. It's likely to be some spotty to scattered activity, some rain and rumbles, but it looks like the better chance for rain overall is going to be off to our south, as well as to see a little bit of heavier rain too. So eventually it will start to dry out. This model in particular drags it a little bit longer in our area. I don't think it's going to last that long into the afternoon or into the evening. So once again, I'm going to pull up the 7-day forecast, and you're going to see several more chances for rain, but none of it is going to be like what we saw yesterday. Not expecting that heavy rainfall at all in this 7-day forecast. We could see some, pockets of heavy rain mixed in on Friday. If we get a little bit of heavier rain, maybe we could pick up a quarter to about a half of an inch of rain. But overall, we're not going to see the 2.53 inches that we saw yesterday, which is now a new daily record for KCI, and about half the amount of rain that we see for June. So on the 7-day forecast, small chances for rain remain for your Saturday and Sunday, but overall the weekend should be nice. We're in the upper 70s, low 80s. The 80s hang on Monday and Tuesday, and eventually no rain chance on Tuesday. That could change though, but as for right now, we'll hope for drier days in the distance. So that's what I've got for you for weather, and I'm going to bring Taylor in for traffic now. Taylor, do you want me to help you set up this over here? Yeah. Give us 1 second.
All right. Thanks so much to Melissa for getting us transitioned. So right now you guys are looking at I-470 westbound past View High Road. That's where we have been seeing some major delays this morning and just about every morning recently due to some construction projects that are happening in that area. So you want to be sure to keep that in mind as you go about your commute today and really every day as that continues. If you see that far left lane is closed going westbound, so there's only 2 lanes that are moving along right now at this time. So that is something that you will run into on a daily basis. But what I want to show you here is westbound I-70 before 470. This has been pretty slow this morning due to that crash you see over in the right shoulder. Some emergency vehicles at one point they had closed just about all of those lanes for one period in time. So traffic was at a standstill at one point before they were able to get things moving again. But as you can see, it's moving pretty slowly right now. Due to that crash, it was a 1 vehicle crash that was reported just after 6 this morning. I want to give you a full look at the metro though. It's a little bit of a mess right now. Let's take a look at this. So here you can see where that crash is. Let me see if I can use the mouse to point it out to you on I-70 westbound, right past Blue Springs. You see that red and that orange there from that slowdown. But not only that, there's also a slowdown 435 headed north as well. There was a crash that way that just cleared up not too long ago. And then in addition, we have our usual spot down by the Jackson Curve where construction is happening there as well. And there are slowdowns as you are headed into downtown Kansas City. So that is something to keep in mind as well. Let's see here. Also, I want to have you keep in mind that there is a lane closure today, State Line Road between 85th and 95th Streets. It's going to be reduced to one lane northbound and southbound for construction and repaving. That's going to be through fall of this year. So that is going to be something that you will encounter on a daily basis as well, especially near the Ward Parkway Shopping Center, so where there's Trader Joe's and Target. So keep that in mind as well as you go about your daily commute. And remember, give yourself some extra time. Be sure to plan ahead so that you can get to your destination safely, but also within the time